There are 19 billion sneakers sold every year. Sneaker culture is changing rapidly. It's all about the hype nowadays, and major cities started becoming sneaker hubs for the hyper beast. In this list, we're going to look at how sneakers have changed major cities like Tokyo, Miami, Chicago, and many, many more. So, here are the top 10 cities for sneakers. Let's dive right into it, shall we? Number 10, Los Angeles. Some call it the City of Angels. Others call it the City of Hollywood. But you know what we call it? For us, LA is just one big sneaker shop. Why? Because you have some of the most iconic sneaker shops that first pop in your mind when you think of exclusive kicks. Here are some of the shops people visit LA for. As our first pick, we're going to go with Union.
My name is Chris Gibbs. I'm the owner of Union, and my advice would be, do you?
The reason being, this is one of the older sneaker shops in the city, as it was founded back in 1989, but this was in NYC. Only a few years later, Eddie Cruz, the founder, moved this legendary store to the West Coast. Since then, Cruz is retired, and the work fell on one of his then employees, the legendary Chris Gibbs.
We've been here for 15 years, and we are having fun.
The second one is Flight Club. Although this one is not as old as our previous pick, it's still one of the most iconic sneaker shops in the entire world. It first opened its doors back in 2005, and today, it boasts walls upon walls of sought-after sneakers that you cannot find anywhere else. Some of the legendary sneaker shops include smashing that like button if you haven't done so already. But no, the actual shops are Keith, Undefeated, The Holy Grail, 424, and a buttload of others. Number 9, Chicago. Unlike LA, Chicago doesn't have the movie industry behind it, nor was it named after a saint, but it still has something much, much more valuable. We're talking, of course, about the man that started the entire sneaker culture of Chicago, the legendary professional basketball player, Michael Jordan. When you talk about sneakers in the city, you cannot go without mentioning him. The pride he brought to the Bulls and the sneakers he wore are an integral part of the sneakerheads in the city. You can't really call yourself a collector without having a pair of either the Air Jordan 1s or the Air Jordan 11s. But Jordan is not really the only reason Chicago is on the list. We cannot forget about the sneaker shops, now can we? We have the famous Shy Sneak Lead, LDRS, 1354, Diana, Success, and of course, the unforgettable St. Alfred. Now you might be asking, are these all of the sneaker shops? You're joking, right? These are just the OGs, the creme de la creme, the top-notch sneaker shops. Thousands, if not tens of thousands of sneaker shops can be found across Chicago. Number 8, Miami. When you think Miami, you cannot forget about the pop stars and the rappers. That means hype. That means sneaker shops are opening like crazy. And aside from the regular, high-priced sneaker shops in other big cities, in Miami, there's one that's killing the game and offering sneakers at super low prices. The name of this shop is Daily Mia, and the sneaker shop that started out as a website and two guys investing their $1,000 savings is now one of the biggest players in the sneaker game. As for the other more popular sneaker shops, here's just a few of them. The main one is Andre's, but then you have billionaire boys clubs, a Bathing Ape, Kith, and of course, LeBron James' very own Unknown. In this city, you can basically find any sneaker you're looking for, unless it's one where there are only like 100 pairs made worldwide. Number 7, Berlin.
Shoes are for me a complex in Berlin.
From the American sneaker culture, we're going to be moving on to some of the European markets that have been enamored with American sneaker culture. Basically, no one can resist Jordans. Or can they? We'll talk about that in a while. Now, which country are we talking about? Germany. The city? Berlin. The capital of both the country and the sneaker revolution in that country. What kind of revolution? Well, this fascination with sneakers began after World War II, or to be more precise, in the late 70s and early 80s. Now, if you remember, Germany was a poor country back then, hence the Berlin Wall that divided the city on the east and the west of Berlin. Back then, you were considered privileged if you had more than one pair of shoes. But the sneakers the German wore weren't Nikes or Air Jordans. You see, in Germany, people love soccer. And that's why Adidas is such a huge player in the sneaker industry in Germany. We don't know how, but Puma is one of the biggest brands for hip-hop artists. And there's this strange pride that people associate with buying secondhand shoes.
You cannot think about German football without talking about Adidas and their innovation.
Number 6, Paris.
Sneakers were only in shops like Opium, and it was really a specific market.
From one European country to the next, we're moving a little west right now, to the capital of the country, the city of love and lights, Paris. And just like everything, it wouldn't be French if these guys didn't add their touch of grace, elegance, and an astronomical price tag. That's why Paris is the place to buy one-of-a-kind sneakers. Until the 2000s, the sneaker game was very low in Paris. The only shop selling sneakers in the city was a shop called Oakland, and that was for the die-hard fans of kicks. People had to import them from Japan and the USA in order to have them in the shops. But this all changed a few years ago. Influenced by the American taste for basketball, France witnesses the opening of a new era, the sneaker era. Even haute couture houses like Chanel, Louis Vuitton, came out with their own line of sneakers to satisfy the demand. And you all know about the Dior Air Jordan collab, right? Number 5, Barcelona. We're still moving west, and now we're in Spain, specifically Barcelona. Now, aside from the gorgeous cathedrals and some breathtaking architecture, the city is called the Mediterranean Mecca of skateboarding. And with a great skateboarding culture comes great sneaker game. Some of the shops in Barcelona are so good, when you're browsing the stores, your mouth will be wide open, like this guy's. The shops include the legendary 24 Calates, SVD, Sneakers, Snipes, and the House of Hoops by Foot Locker, where you have a concrete mold from LeBron James' hands for his Barcelona to London 2011 tour. Now those are some serious shops. Number 4, San Francisco. You didn't think we'd forget about San Francisco, did you? If you ask us, San Francisco is one of the coolest cities in the USA, and the entire world for that matter. Plus, having all those cool sneaker shops is just an added bonus. The sneaker shops we've had in mind are our runners' minds. Fleet Feet Sports San Francisco, Shoes and Feet, and the unforgettable Nice Kicks. This last one started as a shoe blog, with a huge following and cash flow allowed these bloggers to become store owners, and has grown to become the leader in the country sneaker game. Number 3, London. We're back in Europe, folks, and it's London that's in the spotlight now. But let's get one thing straight. Here, you don't have sneakers, you only have trainers. And what Londoners wear is very different from what the northern parts of England wears. For example, while London prides itself on multiculturalism and American sneaker trends, where Nike, Air Jordans, and Yeezys are the holy grail of sneakers, they live, think, and breathe Adidas. It's the sneakers they saw during some of their favorite soccer matches, so there's no beating it. Number 2, Tokyo. If we move to the other side of the world and start looking at the sneaker culture in Japan, we have to look at Tokyo. This is the town where you have people saying that this is where sneaker culture originated, even though the Americans had all the famous basketball players in the 80s and 90s. The sneaker that changed all of Japan was in the Air Max 95s. It's become a legend nowadays, and the local sneakerheads are the best at preserving culture, whatever it may be. But here, you won't see some huge sneaker shops with walls upon walls of sneakers. Tokyo is different. You have about 2 to 3 shops of the same brand on the same block. There's no exception. And of course, undefeated, the Them, Mita Sneakers, Band of Outsiders, and Heather Graywall are just some of the most popular. Number 1, New York. This is it. This is the mecca of sneaker culture. NYC is the place where sneakerheads are born. And the saga began way back in the 1980s and 90s with the rise of hip-hop culture, graffiti, and the streetwear. NYC street fashion, sneaker culture, looking fresh, call it what you will. It's the best in the entire freaking world. Designers flock here for a chance to get a collaboration with Jordan and design their own shoe. And the company driving this culture? Nike. Sprinkled into the Big Apple sneaker mix is a little bit of Adidas, Yeezys, and Reebok. But whatever the case, stores like Extra Butter, Flight Club, Nike Soho, and Stadium Good lead with a daunting pace. And on that note, we end this video. But hey, which of these cities is your go-to sneaker heaven? You can tell us in the comment section below. If you'd like more videos like these, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you can never miss any of them. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.